Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back. My name is Sarah. If we haven't connected before, and my channel is all about personal development and helping people to gain the amazing confidence that's deep down inside all of us. But quite often, we're for whatever reason, it's blocked from shining through. And I want people to shift that shit and really get back to their truest, authentic version of themselves so they can shine their light in the world. And so today I want to talk to you about people pleasing. And I used to be a big people pleaser, was always trying to prove within my relationships, even within my jobs, that, I was worth liking or loving. I didn't even realize I was doing it. I didn't even know whether I liked something or didn't like something half the time. I would just go along with what other people said, and even if I knew I didn't like it, I'd still do it because I didn't want them to be disappointed in me or judge me. And part of that was because I was judging myself hugely, and that can be really crippling as well, because when we're judging ourselves, we're judging others, we're comparing ourselves all the time, then, how can you shine your light? Because you're gripped by fear, really, of what everybody else thinks about you, and that's no way to live your life. You end up staying in things as well for way too long, and not breaking out and getting stuck into the things that you want to get stuck into in your life. And so I had to learn this the hard way, and have some failed relationships, and do a lot of healing, a lot of shifting, a lot of learning, a lot of growing, so I could get out of this pattern. And I really didn't even realize it was a pattern until, of course, I'd dealt with it. And what I found on my journey was that people pleasing really comes from an inherent belief in ourselves that we're not good enough. And it comes from parent pleasing when we are young children. Of course, before the age of 7, we are just little beings soaking up every experience, every interaction with everybody around us, and forming opinions about ourselves. And during those formative years, it's so important what we're told about ourselves and what we see and what we hear. And they say that little saying, give me the man till he's 7, and give me the boy till he's 7 and I'll show you the man. Well, that is very true, and of course it goes for girls too. And so when we're young, we want our parents to approve of us. We want, if we're naughty or we are finding knocking up against the boundaries that are set there for us, and our parents just see us as we're meant to, do as we're told and not buck the system, not question, not have our little tantrums when we're 2 years old, which, of course, when children are 2, they're really coming up against other people's values. They've kind of got a little bit of an idea of who they are as a person, and they test the boundaries. And some of them will be very determined to test those boundaries, and they will act it out hugely. But they're just finding their way in the world and knocking up and seeing whether it's safe to express themselves. And often, especially in my day and age, we were just shut down, like sent to your, well, even now you're given time out, sent to your room. We got a smack if we behaved like that. And so, I quickly learnt not to do that, and so I conformed. My parents tell me, oh, you were an easy child, you were such a good girl. Whereas my sister was not. She bucked up against the things, and she's got a lot of problems around that. And, but I had the equal problems because I was in relationships and trying to do everything, be the model wife, the model mother, the 1950s wife, or make sure that you look good all the time, and that the house is always clean and the kids are washed. And, there's nothing wrong with those things inherently, but I was doing it, I realised after the fact, so that I would get love from doing that. And, love is unconditional. True love, you don't have to prove yourself in a relationship that you're good enough. The person you're with knows you're good enough, and that's why they picked you to be with. And often when you've got those feelings of not feeling good enough and you're trying to please all the time, you've kind of picked partners that aren't mirroring back to you your own self-worth and self-value. And so you put up with behaviours that are not helpful, are not healthy. And I certainly have, and I would, stand my ground, and I'm not a complete walkover. I would say that's not okay. I don't like that behaviour. Stop it. Get into arguments with them even over it. But guess what? There was no consequences, and even if they tried to put consequences in, they didn't care. They just did whatever. And I was too fearful of getting out of those relationships because I believed that I wouldn't find anybody else because, that I just had to fix the person I was with, which in fixing people is another way of trying to control your situation and to prove that you're lovable. Because when you're trying to fix somebody, you're then you're going to want them, if I fix them, then they'll love me because I fixed them. And really kind of manipulating the situation so that they will think they can't do without you because you're so wonderful and you're helping them so much. And, it's another aspect of people pleasing, really. And when you're trying to do that, you're actually manipulating the situation and you're manipulating the relationship. And if you've got really good self-esteem, self-confidence, and know who you are as a person and feel grounded and centered in who you are, people with strong attachment, secure attachment styles, they don't just put up with that shit. They don't have to prove themselves in any way, shape or form. If somebody starts acting inappropriately towards them, they might give them one warning, but they'll say, hey, I don't put up with that kind of behaviour. In fact, I've been in a relationship where my partner did say that to me when I did something, I can't even remember what it was, out of line, but you know what? I never did that again because I wanted to be in partnership with that person, and they set the standard and they were grounded in themselves, and I knew if I didn't toe the line that I wouldn't be with that person. And so I shifted my behaviour, and anyone that's worth being with you is worth putting that line in the sand and not putting up with it. Don't believe there's no one else out there for you. There's millions of people out there, and you don't just want anybody. You want the person that is grounded and centered and secure and doesn't put up with shit, just like you. And that's the kind of person you draw to yourself when you go through your inner work and you shift the things out of the way that do not align with you being the most authentic version of yourself. Somebody loves you just for being you and being alive on the planet. And that's actually what was supposed to happen when we were born with our parents. Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. And it doesn't mean our parents were bad people. It just means that they're doing their own patterns that came about from their childhood. And maybe they had to please their parents. What were their childhood stories like about, And then it can go back even further. And your grandparents' stories, what were they like? What were they about? When you can look back and you can see the patterns within your family, it's hugely powerful. Hugely powerful. And, I did an ancestral healing course. I was trying to think, what was it called? And I looked back, even the cultures that are part of your family. When you look back at the different cultures that you've got in your family, where your heritage went back to, you find out a lot. I come from Irish. I've got lots of cultures in my background, but one, the Irish, which I have as part of mine, they went through the potato famine and a lot of scarcity, and there was a lot of scarcity mindset in my family. And I've really worked hard to unblock that stuff and shift it, and I can see the changes like in my parents. They used to always be talking about lack, and they don't do that anymore, and they are not hung up on not having enough money all the time. And I've shifted all those blocks as well. And so, when you have an understanding of yourself, it's so much easier to let things go and move things, because 90% of transformation is awareness. 10% is shifting it out the way. But when you're aware, you catch yourself and, oh no, I don't want to think like that anymore. No, that's an old story. So just shining the light, it's shining the light on the shadows, and we've all got them. And yeah, when the light comes, then in the end, the darkness drifts away. And that's certainly true. So yeah, just think about your relationships, your jobs. Are you trying to prove yourself all the time? Are you trying to be that boss, trying to have everybody like you? And I've been all aspects of that. The daughter wanting to be liked and loved, the friend wanting to be liked and loved, the partner wanting to be liked and loved, the boss wanting to be liked and loved, the employee wanting to be liked and loved. And it was, it's just seeking it all the time. You don't have to. And if you're in situations where people aren't proving your worth, then look at that and lean into it. And it doesn't mean you necessarily have to leave. It just means maybe you need to just do a lot of inner work. And then, yeah, it'll be easy to leave, actually. That's what I found. It got easier and easier to leave situations the more work I did on myself. I didn't fear change anymore. I felt so secure in myself that, I was happy to step out and step up, and especially to help other people, because you become a light to others when they see you shifting your life. Then if they're in a situation they don't want to be in, then they go, well, far out, if she can do it, I can do it too. So be that light, be that light for others, and be the light to yourself, because you deserve the best that that life has to give you. And everything that's sent our way, I believe, is a lesson. So take the lesson, and then when you've learned it, you don't have to keep going over it again anymore. It won't show up anymore in your life. So that's my message for today. Much love and blessings to you all. And of course, like and subscribe to my channel if you want to hear more of my tips. And I will connect again with you soon. Much love.